Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: how does Britt's bedtime drug injection help her treat Huntington's disease? According to General Hospital teasers, Britt Westbourne may be undergoing a miraculous therapy for Huntington's disease, which would account for the medicine injection she had before bed in the episode that aired on July 29. Even though Huntington's illness is a real condition, the show might be providing Britt a soap opera solution. The GH writers haven't hesitated to include Huntington's disease in the tale since Liesl Albrecht has been thinking about Britt's diagnosis and how it affected her. To put it another way, they didn't try to hide this or assume that people would forget it. Britt may be able to help with this Huntington's disease issue, which has been brought up and will need to be addressed. We may presume that this woman is not a clone because Kelly Thibault has acknowledged that she is portraying Britt. The real Britt may be getting curative doses in return for her labor on this top-secret experiment because she has Huntington's illness. If so, it would undoubtedly be an effective method of controlling Britt and ensuring that she complies with the demands of her boss or superiors. Britt's miraculous Huntington's treatment might be stopped if she doesn't comply with everyone's wishes. That would be a great incentive for Britt to contribute to whatever nefarious venture she is involved in. Since Britt was researching the nurse's ball online, it appears that she is missing Port Charles. Since Britt thought of Liesl and bid Mutter good night after going to bed, it is obvious that she is missing her mother. But as part of her agreement, Britt might not be permitted to communicate with anyone from her previous life. It will be interesting to observe what guidelines Britt is adhering to and whether her work is indeed earning her a miraculous Huntington's treatment. In any case, Britt might be working for that unknown man as well because Jen Sidwell made references to a secret male partner that Professor Henry Hank Dalton seems to be terrified of. According to General Hospital teasers, there will be more amazing Britt news soon, so stay tuned for updates on all the developments. GH spoilers: will another mother replace Lulu Spencer? According to General Hospital spoilers, chaos has ensued since Lulu Spencer returned to town. It's not her fault. Not a bit. Since the recast character recently destroyed her enemy's bond with the kid she never had, Lulu's son is now doubting his biological ancestry. Let's examine this fascinating dynamic. Son of Lulu questions her. Lulu has always been a captivating figure. She is the daughter of Luke and Laura, the first daytime super couple. Since its 1990s debut, Lulu has undergone aging and recasting. Emmy Rylan, who succeeded Julie Marie Berman, was replaced by Alexa Havens-Bruning. Is there going to be another Lulu replacement? Indeed, perhaps. It's not what you may imagine, though. Lulu faces the risk of being replaced by the surrogate mother of her son, Rocco Falconeri, rather than being recast. Rocco Falconeri is who? Rocco recently found out that he was born to Britt Westbourne. In fact, she had him implanted after stealing him as an embryo. This deception continued until the truth was revealed when she gave birth to him and gave him the name Ben. Unbelievably, Rocco, who is now a teenager, has no idea where he came from. He was taken aback by the news, and his parents were horrified when he told them. Rocco's parents are Lulu and Dante. To make matters worse for them, Rocco contacted her mother, Lyle Albrecht, to inquire about the alleged death of Britt. Rocco is enamored with Britt, and he won't be surprised when she returns to town without anyone knowing. Will she take over as his mother? I've been playing it as Rocco purely just wanting to know more information, Carr told Soap Opera Digest. Finn Carr, who plays Rocco, said, "I don't think his curiosity is a telltale sign that he's going to favor Britt, or start to favor Britt more than Lulu, or anything like that. There has definitely been some tension between Rocco and Lulu, but I don't think Rocco is seeing her as any less his mom. Fans shouldn't be concerned about any of that. In my opinion, GH spoilers, Daisy's stalker, Nina, takes the fall." According to General Hospital teasers, Nina Reeves may give a false account and be held accountable for stalking Daisy Gilmore. After all, she may have reasons for wanting to win back her daughter's trust in addition to her desperate want to keep Willow Tate safe. Backed into a corner, Willow Tate is gradually reverting to her former self now that she is free of Drew Kane's influence. Having said that, if she ever hopes to be included in the lives of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos, she must get back on track after her huge scene at Carly Spencer's house. When Willow discovered she no longer had primary custody of the children, she had a complete breakdown. She wasn't in her right mind, so kidnapping their baby girl, even for just 20 minutes or so, was not the best way to pay Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Michael Corinthos back. After the infant and her mother were so alarmed that they left the house, Nina and Drew appeared to have a revelation about Willow's role in pursuing Daisy. Willow's redemption. It is quite obvious that Willow will win back Michael's trust. A reunion between the two is another possibility. Restoring their family would be the ideal way to repair Drew's harm. The only issue is Willow's Daisy stalking secret, which jeopardizes her happiness in the long run. It's easy to imagine Drew becoming envious and disclosing Willow's secret to Michael, possibly during a significant public gathering that the whole town is attending. Nina would then have the chance to take over and blame herself while denying Willow's involvement. Nina may point out that she was so angry at Michael's behavior that she just intended to show him how Willow felt and to give him a taste of her medicine, not to harm the baby. Willow might be surprised that Nina was acting in this way, but given the situation, she will undoubtedly keep quiet. That being said, might Nina's fall serve as the crucial link in mending Willow and Nina's relationship? Will Nina accept responsibility for Daisy stalking? How can Willow and Nina from GH preserve their mother-daughter bond? How to repair the relationship between Willow and Nina on GH? The hard-won friendship between Willow and Nina was severely damaged on her wedding day when Willow discovered her mother had an affair with her husband, Drew. Even though Willow was deeply hurt by the discovery, their mother-daughter bond on General Hospital may not be over. As a matter of fact, it can be saved. Accepting responsibility. There is a chance for a reconciliation, but first and foremost, each party must accept responsibility for their own behavior. Nina must own that she was mistaken to keep her affair with Drew a secret as soon as she found out Willow was interested in him. She made a grave error by keeping that important knowledge to herself. Willow had more time to develop feelings for Drew. If Nina had been honest from the beginning, she could have put an end to the romance right away. Willow must acknowledge that it is simply incorrect to hold Nina responsible for everything that has occurred to her, including the breakdown of her marriage to Michael and the loss of custody of their children. The decision to cheat on her spouse and abandon their idyllic life together was Willow's. She is the one who went off course, gave up everything, and was seduced by Drew. She is alone responsible for that. Nina is not at fault. Time to heal. After admitting their own transgressions, Willow and Nina require time to process the events that have occurred. In essence, Drew played both of them. He is the factor that unites their suffering and heartbreak. Both of them will need to confront the sorrow and heartache, figure out how to handle it, and get through it however they feel fit. Thankfully, their friends and family are there to support and love them through this trying time. Road to reconciliation. Willow and Nina may eventually come to terms with their dislike of Drew as they gradually get better. As they come to the realization that the scoundrel's acts shouldn't destroy the mother-daughter tie they worked so hard to create, it might bring them back together. Nina could also help things along by being there for Willow, who is devastated by everything she has lost: her home, her husband, her children, her dignity. She could take the lead and pressure Martin Gray and or Rick Lansing to do everything in their power to help Willow get back some custody or at least visitation of Wiley and Amelia while covertly funding the entire situation. Willow might eventually forgive Nina and give the two of them another shot at a genuine relationship if Nina is successful in reuniting her with her kids, which is the one thing she really wants. The Metro Court pool was overshadowed by the midday sun, which rippled its golden reflection across the water's surface. Despite the storm that was brewing beneath the intersection of multiple lives that day, the environment was surprisingly calm. Sunny watched Carly approach with worry written in every line of her face as he stood close to the shaded cabana, hands folded in front of him. Carly didn't hold back. She spoke quietly but firmly. "After what happened with Marco, I can't keep acting like everything's normal." Sunny's eyebrows narrowed slightly as he breathed gently. "Tell me our family is safe." "That was Lucas," he said. Carly's mouth dropped open in shock as she heard the words. "He went to the cops." "Lucas?" "My sibling." Michael and Wiley walked over before Sunny could respond, the young child chatting contentedly about swimming classes. After giving his parents a quick smile, Michael walked Wiley to the teacher. When Wiley had disappeared from view, Carly went back to Sunny. "I still find it hard to believe. Of all people, Lucas? he believed Marco was in danger, Sunny said coolly. He had a good reason. In the end, though, Marco delivered. He told the police a story that vindicated me. Claimed to have been with him that evening. Thus, no, I wasn't taken into custody. But that doesn't mean we're safe, Carly said. Not entirely. Sunny gave a nod. I came to an understanding with Sidwell. For the time being, Measure C is off the table. Michael had returned to them and overheard the conclusion of the discussion. So we're secure? He inquired. For the time being, Sunny said. However, Michael, I can't help but worry. Would things have gone differently with Willow if you hadn't been hurt? Michael's mouth clenched. That is no longer relevant. Willow has made up her mind. Carly put a hand on her son's arm and said, and I made mine. And the wedding is today. How are you doing? Michael's face became serious. Willow doesn't comprehend that I'm protecting the children when I keep her away from them. She believes I'm punishing her. She has changed since I know her. Not after what she did. Marco and Lucas lay together, shoulders touching, in the dim light of a bedroom that was new to them but was becoming more comfortable. Lucas grinned slightly as he gazed at the ceiling. Marco laughed and muttered, you know, I could get used to waking up like this. Same. They said that, and then there was a pause before Lucas spoke again in a low voice. I feared that anything had happened to you. And I would have if you hadn't returned. I have no idea. Marco turned to face him and grasped his hand. I felt there was something unique about you the first night we met in Miami. I was not mistaken. I refused to allow anything to separate us. Lucas chuckled quietly. I'm glad we took our time. We now have a greater chance at this. Marco appeared amused. Are you considering starting a job? Lucas sighed and said, I think I should. They haven't seen me in days. I've already called a couple of them, Marco promised. Your boss is aware that you should not be expected just yet. The morning went by, and before long, they were dressed and making their way to the Metro Court pool. Marco, however, paused when they noticed Carly, Michael, and Sunny conversing near the lounge chairs. We should return to the room, he added hastily. Lucas shook his head, saying, I don't want to break the peace. I must complete this. For me. He walked deliberately across the pool deck. Seeing him, Sunny started to go. Sunny whispered, something I need to handle. However, Lucas wasn't giving him a pass. Hey, Lucas called to catch up with him. He added mockingly, thanks for the key. It was kind of you to pretend that you were helping me. Sunny didn't stutter. Especially since you're the reason Marco was missing in the first place. You don't know who is involved or what's happening. Marco is doing well. Next time, though, don't rush to the police. He left Lucas furious and left. After watching the conversation, Carly went up to her brother. With fiery eyes, Lucas turned to face her. Do you believe that calling the police was a mistake on my part? He inquired. I don't know what's going on, he says. Do you? Carly maintained a steady stare. He's correct. Lucas gazed at her, saying, you should not have gone to the police. Additionally, you continue to cover for him. After everything. Why? Carly paused before responding. Due to Donna. Due to. Lucas shook his head and said, my family is messy. You continue to allow him to rule your life. You always have. When Kai entered, Trina was distractedly stirring her coffee at a small table in another corner of Port Charles. For a brief while, she stopped breathing when she saw him wearing a sharp suit. He immediately saw her. Standing across from her, Kai murmured quietly, I know you think I betrayed you. But my concern for you hasn't diminished. Trina's lips tensed, not for a second. What's the reason behind your attire? He acknowledged that he was attending Willow and Drew's wedding. Trina's eyes became hazy. Then, sure. There's no turning back. Portia sat behind her desk at General Hospital, her letter of resignation prepared and folded. Curtis came in with a worried expression. You spent last night here? He inquired. She gave a nod. I had to get ready. My last day is probably today. Are you truly stepping down? I filled Willow in on everything. Concerning the blackmail. Curtis paused. I don't see any other way to leave this place with any dignity. What if I requested that you wait? Only for today. Let me try something. Portia's expression was doubtful. What on earth could you do? Curtis remarked. Maybe Drew won't have Willow to fight for much longer. Portia's voice trailed off, and if that happens, maybe he'll stop holding this over us. Even if Willow leaves, Drew will remember. He's not like that. Curtis appeared to think about something. However, if he completely left Port Charles? She gave him a questioning look. What do you have planned? Give me a chance, please. Another day. Trina came in at that moment, perplexed by the tension. Curtis and Portia swiftly changed the subject, telling her they were only discussing broad topics. Trina, however, was not duped. I just happened to run into Kai, she muttered. He still has feelings for me. I trust him. But sometimes you make compromises for the people you love, Curtis said gently, adding, but I'm not sure it's enough. Relationships are like that. Before he left, he gave his daughter a forehead kiss. Trina, alone herself with her mother, inquired, what is Dad up to? Portia was only able to sigh. I really don't know. Alexis had returned to Drew's place. She saw her ex-son-in-law moving nervously, obviously preoccupied with the wedding. I understand that you're worried, Drew remarked. However, this is Scout's best course of action. For our family. Alexis' eyebrows shot up. Just. Perhaps wait till the move is finalized before telling Scout about it. Allow her to acclimate. Drew nodded. She already loves Willow. Scout appeared, spinning for her father in a lovely white outfit. Do I appear all right? He picked her up and remarked, you look perfect. Kai later arrived with Drew's passport. France, with amusement, he inquired. Drew adjusted his cufflinks and remarked, it's a surprise honeymoon. She has endured a lot. I want her to breathe. They mentioned Trina for a moment. Kai acknowledged that he couldn't keep silent about the plot Curtis and Portia were hatching, which is why he and Trina split up. Kai admitted, I betrayed her confidence. But I couldn't allow you to be framed. Meanwhile, the wedding's finishing touches were being completed in the chapel. Liz and Albrecht struck up a conversation, both of them impressed by how expertly Maxie had planned the occasion from a distance. With her eyes fixed on the flower arrangements, Albrecht mumbled to herself, I still think this is doomed. Nina put a family heirloom bracelet on Willow's wrist in the bridal room. Willow gave her mother a firm hug and expressed gratitude for enabling this day. You've done it all, she muttered. I owe you. Liz and Albrecht came in a second later, and Willow thanked them for coming. Liz swept her off to inspect her bouquet. With a stern voice, Albrecht turned to face Nina. When she learned that Sasha and Daisy had left town, she grinned. Grief wasn't that. Nina blinked, that was satisfaction. You believe Willow? She had entry. She was familiar with the cameras. She was aware of Daisy's sleeping arrangements. Later, with tears in her eyes, Nina excused herself as Scout presented Willow with a photo gift. Ava had just arrived as she dashed into the corridor. What's the matter? Ava took her arm and requested. I have been visually impaired, Nina muttered. And Drew took this action. I no longer recognize my daughter because of him. You believe Willow did all that to Daisy? I do, Nina replied. And I'm done acting like I don't. Lucas and Carly faced off once more by the pool. He remarked, I never accepted your silence pact. You're no longer together. Why do you continue to shield him? Because of certain factors. Carly remarked, they're bigger than us. Lucas gave her a fierce look. He has only taken from you. Morgan included. Carly winced. Don't go there. You're supporting a man who ruined your son's life. Sonny returned inside and discovered Marco by himself in his room. I'm not seeking appreciation, Sonny declared. But don't get in my way. Portia put her letter of resignation back in her drawer at General Hospital. On the other side of her was Trina. Portia gently advised her to do what was best for herself. Not what you think we want. Michael knelt next to Wiley by the pool. He replied softly, your mommy is getting married to Uncle Drew today. That is not what I want, Wiley yelled. I want Daddy and Mommy. Michael drew him in close. I am aware that it is difficult. She will always adore you, though. And so shall I. Kai was getting ready to head to the chapel at Drew's. He genuinely said, I wish you and Willow the best. Nina wiped away her last tears as visitors streamed inside the chapel. I can't keep quiet any longer, she said in a whisper to Ava. She rushed to the bridal room, declaring, this is it. The sound of the door opening caused Willow to turn, adjusting her veil. In the doorway appeared Curtis. She exclaimed with shock, you can't be here. If Portia is involved, he interrupted her. Last summer. When you were infatuated with Drew. The ensuing stillness was deafening. He and your mother were sleeping together. Early week GH spoilers for August 4th to 8th, Chase Britt, Emma and Joe's peril, and Drew's strength. Major surprises are hinted at in General Hospital spoilers for the week of August 4th. Jason Morgan will likely keep looking for answers, fans may anticipate. This might lead him to follow a lead on Britt Westbourne's location. Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake can find themselves in jeopardy. In addition, Drew Kane may have some influence over Willow Tate. Following Britt Westbourne, let's begin with Jason's task. The man on the right is certain that Britt was the woman he saw at the airport. He discussed it first with Liesl Albrecht and then with Carly Spencer. Jason will board an aircraft after investigating the 5 Poppies clue and obtaining a favor from Elizabeth Liz Baldwin. In the meantime, if Britt fails to provide their supervisor with a positive progress report, Professor Henry Hank Dalton may face additional challenges. Vaughn and Jocelyn Jacks will then proceed with their investigation as a result of that. But that also entails keeping up the public appearance of being a couple. Carly Spencer will have to give Jocelyn lectures in the meanwhile. Joss was cautioned by Jack Brennan that phony romances might be problematic. The employer was reassured by the blonde, though, that there aren't any genuine emotions at play. Joss, famous last words. Emma Scorpio Drake's danger. According to General Hospital spoilers for the week of August 4th, Emma and Gio will probably enter the hospital covertly. Emma has shared her master key with Gio. Anna Devane, though, is concerned that Emma might be putting herself in danger. Fans can also witness Jen Sidwell and Marco Rios planning their retaliation during the week of August 4th, 2025. Ava Jerome might attempt to sneak up on Cody Bell. Molly Lansing Davis heard Christina Corinthos Davis speak in her ear. Molly is now misinformed about the Horseman. Willow, who has sworn off Drew, is another. But it looks like Drew might have some power. Supporters are aware that Drew discovered Willow was deceiving Sasha Gilmore Corinthos about her newborn daughter, Daisy Gilmore Corinthos. Drew never brought this up to Willow. Could Drew compel Willow to wed Curtis Ashford with that arrogant smile during his ultimatum? GH spoilers, Ezra Boyle wins the mayoral race by taking advantage of Laura's absence. According to General Hospital teasers, Laura Collins and Ezra Boyle will square off in the mayoral contest in Port Charles this autumn. Since Laura always takes her yearly vacation at the same time as Jeannie Francis, we are aware that she will soon be absent from Port Charles. Ezra will take full advantage of this and use it to his advantage in the mayoral election, which could result in developments in the plot. It impacts her campaign when Laura Collins leaves Port Charles. Laura may be leaving Port Charles in the near future. Maybe to cope with her mother Leslie Weber's passing. Alternatively, she might be traveling with her spouse, Kevin Collins. Laura's mayoral campaign might suffer as a result of her absence. It wouldn't seem good for Laura to leave the community when Measure C is causing chaos. She might have very valid reasons, but Ezra would take advantage of it in the election. Laura Collins returns just in time for the election. Usually, Laura stays away from Port Charles throughout the late summer and early fall, and this year might be no exception. Laura will most likely return in time for the November mayoral election, though. Meanwhile, Ezra will take advantage of Laura's absence and make it appear as though she resigned from her position as mayor in order to disparage her whenever he can. The public could forgive Laura if she stood up for herself and gave an explanation for her brief absence from Port Charles. Election day comes, and Ezra Boyle is unrelenting. Ezra chases Laura whenever he can. According to him, the mayor has the authority to take extended vacations from Port Charles, particularly during times of unrest. He would assure Port Charles that he would never do that since the city is his top concern, citing Laura's many absences from her position as mayor over the years. On election day, voters would undoubtedly be thinking about this, and Laura could not win the vote. When Ezra Boyle is elected as the new mayor of Port Charles, everyone is taken aback. Laura Collins accepts her defeat, but Ezra Boyle's victory portends trouble. Now that Laura has lost, she would be the mature one and accept Ezra's victory, gloat, and be a terrible jerk. Laura would inform Jordan Ashford that since Ezra has assumed the role of mayor, the city is facing severe difficulties. Jordan would concur, but be careful to closely monitor his relationship with Jen Sidwell. Despite losing her job as mayor, Laura would be concerned about Port Charles's future and would promise to keep the city safe. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think Laura will spend some time away from Port Charles? Will this have an impact on her mayoral campaign? Will Ezra be Port Charles's next mayor? Grandma, I'm worried. Power plays and I need help. Power struggles, a frightened grandmother, and a need for assistance are all hinted at in General Hospital spoilers and updates. Curtis Ashford attempts a power move, Jason Morgan seeks assistance, and Anna Devane concerns. As she speaks with Dante Falconeri, Grandma Anna's concern for Emma Scorpio Drake is evident. She confides in him that she fears finding herself in a predicament from which she will be unable to escape. Will she designate Dante to watch over her? Given that Emma is almost always with Gio Palmieri, who has yet to speak to his birth parents, Dante included, it might be a little problematic. However, they are already aware that Jocelyn Jacks is an agent, and they haven't even alerted Carly Spencer to this. Could Anna be worried that Jack Brennan secretly enlisted Emma anyhow? Surreptitious disclosures. Meanwhile, Emma and Gio seem to be someplace near the Metro Court pool. She informs him she took the master key to someone's facility while he is dressed in his work uniform and she is wearing jeans shorts and an open shirt over a yellow bikini top. It is safe to presume that Professor Henry Dalton has the key. Emma might have already put herself into a situation from which she won't be able to escape, especially if Dalton finds it gone. Given this, it might not be a bad idea to assign Dante to watch over both Emma and Jocelyn. Curtis attempts a power play on Drew Kane in the meantime to avoid Portia Robinson having to leave her job at GH, which she has already left. Curtis asks Drew whether he's willing to hand over the blackmail material he has on Portia, and doesn't trust him to play nice. That makes sense given that the ruthless congressman has used almost every devious tactic known to man in recent months. Curtis is aware that anything involving Drew must be handled like battling fire with fire. Will he be able to remove the evidence from Drew's possession and have faith that it is all there is to it? Willow Tate is currently with Michael Corinthos, where she is pleading with him regarding their children, Amelia and Wiley Corinthos, and she will make a vow. As she begs her ex-husband, "Can we work together to decide what to do about our children?" she will make a commitment. At least Willow appears to be in far better mental and emotional health than she was when she passed out in court and the night before at Carly's, according to Michael. But as he informed Drew when Drew tried to argue with him about Willow seeing the kids, he doesn't feel like he can take that chance. Carly is with Jocelyn as her mother gives her some advice regarding her boyfriend, Vaughn, in the interim. She is unaware that the sexual relationship is merely a front and that Vaughn is truly Joss's WSB handler. When Carly tells Joss that Vaughn isn't worth her time if that's what he's doing, it's clear that she disapproves of some of his actions. Carly witnessed firsthand how Vaughn and Joss argued in public, appeared to split up, and flirted with Emma. Vaughn is advertising himself as a player, all the time being a cover for his WSB actions. Help wanted. In another scene, Jason informs Elizabeth Weber that he truly needs her assistance. As GH's top nurse, it's likely that he needs her assistance in order to view some of Britt Westbourne's last medical records. After telling him how Britt passed away in her arms, Liesl Albrecht apparently accompanied her to the hospital mortuary. According to Liesl, Britt informed her that she preferred cremation over donating her body to medical research due to Huntington's disease. However, he is aware that he saw her alive at the Paris airport and has begun looking into and learning more about the Five Poppies resort in Croatia's Dalmatia. Liesl claimed that Britt died in her arms on the haunted star, but he doesn't seem to know how she survived, so he'll want to find out what happened to her body. Make sure you keep up with all that's going on with GH at the moment. How you can influence William DeVry's gritty film Spill, a GH alum. When William DeVry announced his most recent film, a suspenseful thriller, his fans were ecstatic. Because he was Luca's father, General Hospital viewers occasionally appreciate references to William DeVry's nuanced character Julian Jerome. Regretfully, the footbridge they were on collapsed in 2020, and Julian was killed following an altercation with Sonny. He has since made appearances in a couple films and TV series, and most recently, he revealed exciting news about a project that is coming up. He spilled the beans. DeVry has been using Instagram to share information about his next film, Spill. In one, he uploaded the trailer and captioned it, "Living our dreams and having fun." At Spill movie starring, director, Blake Ritter, Sophia Unal, and myself. He went on to explain how the fans could support the film, saying, "Please join at srocksandovarian.org for some of our events, including park and or waterfront walk sprints, baseball games including at Phillies at Dodgers as well as oceanside walks. Times like this, I think about people who aren't able to live their dreams because they are busy fighting for their lives. Simply take part." DeVry's Dark Turn Spill's plot is described on its IMDb page as follows: a simple housecleaning job turns into a fight for survival when a desperate woman is caught between a grieving loner and a violent figure from his past. Ritter not only wrote and directed the film, but also stars alongside DeVry and actress Unal, who has also starred in some of his short films. The relevant question was posed by one fan, "That looks awesome. When will we be able to see it?" At Michelle_LaPlante, TBD, but I bet in early spring, DeVry replied. "If we're lucky, it might be early winter." The fans were ecstatic to see this new feature. As one fan commented, "Looks fantastic, and not going to lie, love hearing you cuss." The trailer also had some explicit language. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.